There are some people who, developed plant-based hamburgers or burgers. I've visited their places. And they did that out of a deep conviction that people are not going to give up meat. So you've got to sort of give them what they want, but not with the animal. And one of them talked about hamburgers being the gateway drug. If we could get people to start eating plant-based burgers, then that's also see about other things, whether it's almond milk or cashew milk and vegan chicken and all that. I always say people are perfectly happy eating vegan food as long as they don't know that's what they're doing. Their mind has a bias against it. They think they need meat. And so as long as we're not working with that mind's anxiety, but just letting the stomach and the taste buds experience a wonderful meal. And then people walk away and they think, oh gosh, Carol was a vegan. That was all vegan. Let people experience what these wonderful foods are. I don't personally think we always need to have substitutes, but in my little book, Burger, I argue that the first burgers were Indian lentil patties from 2000 BCE, that falafels are an early burger, that really the hamburger's late to the burger world. It's just, again, the dominance of a meat-eating culture that makes us think that the hamburger came first. People like a certain texture, and I'm certainly not against giving people the texture they want. Perhaps they could learn that when you throw a tub of tofu in the freezer and defrost it and then fry it, it tastes like burger. Because it's changed a little through the freezing. So I'm not necessarily saying we have to feed people substitutes, but we have to respect that people think they can't live without meat. I mean, that's one of the lies. And the more they experience the non-threatening environment of eating vegan foods, the better it is. I think that the fact is, I don't want them to believe it. I want them to experience it. I want them to eat the food and experience that there is nothing they miss about meat. And the only way to do that is to not tell them they're getting something without meat. Just let them experience the meal. So I don't think of it as a commercial so much as just as an invitation to experience the reality of it. The more people experience the reality of it, and the more they realize that they're already eating these foods. They're eating, in the West, they're eating pasta marinara. They're oatmeal. They're eating some of these meals anyway. They just never thought of them as vegan. So that's why I do, we used to call them vegan propaganda meals. But the idea is just make delicious food and let them experience it. There was a restaurant in London that was called Root Burger, and it was in an old double-decker bus. And nowhere on the menu did it say it was vegan, except in really small print. So it just said, this kind of burger and that kind of burger and this kind of, and then at the bottom it really small print. So that's one way people do it. I mean, the other thing is, lots of people will go to a vegan restaurant because that's the place where their friends can eat, and then they have vegan food and discover it's pretty tasty. I'm not saying there's one way to do it. All I'm saying is that we've got to overcome the suspicion that vegan food doesn't taste good or that they're going to miss the meat. And the way to do that isn't so much by a commercial, but by immersion in the reality of it. I've always felt that I'm much more successful not arguing for veganism person to person. I feel I leave that to my books, but just creating delicious food and welcoming people. Vegan hospitality.